So what exactly is an exit strategy? We all have our own personal reasons for stacking silver. Some stack because they like to collect. Some want to get rich. Some want to have something to hand down to their children after they're gone. Others want to hedge against inflation. And still others are looking for something of value to barter with in the event of a worst-case scenario. Regardless of your reasons for stacking, everyone should have an established exit strategy or plan to convert your silver into something else. Your exit strategy defines how you intend to do this. You don't want to leave your wealth in precious metals indefinitely. There are most certainly times when it is the right place for your wealth to be, in my opinion, like now, when we are at the precipice of a global financial monetary breakdown. But at some point the economy will recover, new currencies will be established, and wealth will be defined in a manner that will be acceptable to the majority of people in the world who possess it. It will be at that point that keeping your wealth in precious metals may no longer be the most beneficial place for it to be. In this event, you need to have an established exit strategy. Know how and to whom you will be selling your precious metals to, and have one or more contingency plans in the event that your primary exit strategy doesn't go the way you wanted it to. Right now, I have two possible triggers that would indicate to me that it was time to liquidate. One is the gold to silver ratio. Right now, the gold to silver ratio is 77-1, meaning that it would take 77 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. This is a very unnatural spread between these two metals, most probably caused by all the market manipulation going on in the precious metals markets. Based upon each metal's rarity in comparison to each other, the U.S. Geological Survey estimates that there's 17.5 times more silver in the Earth's crust than gold. For much of history, the ratio mirrored that natural occurrence of silver to gold as mined from the Earth, which was around 17.5. The ratio was set to 15-1 by the U.S. government from 1792 to 1833, and then increased to 16-1 in 1834. Throughout the 20th century, though, the gold to silver ratio has averaged about 47-1 and has fluctuated pretty wildly at times. The gold to silver ratio is by no means the be-all, end-all solution for timing your precious metals transactions, but it can be a useful tool. Right now, silver is drastically undervalued in relation to gold, and when that value adjusts to a more natural ratio, I believe that will be the time to convert a significant portion of my silver to gold, which will yield more actual weight in gold than I could acquire at the current ratio. For me, if the ratio were to reach 40-1, I would begin to seriously start studying the market trends to look for a sell point. My plan is to begin converting portions of my silver into gold as long as the ratio supports it. I would have to be very careful though because of the typical wild fluctuations of the silver market. As an example, in April 2011, the ratio spiked to 31-1, and in December of 1979, it was 14-1. I believe that in the impending collapse of the US dollar on the horizon, we will see another spike in the ratio that might even surpass what we had in 1979 or 2011. So why convert silver to gold? Gold markets are more stable than silver, and if the gold to silver ratio balances back to its natural level, then silver will no longer be undervalued, and it would be better to have the yellow metal in the long run. I will always maintain a certain amount of silver depending on the economic situation, but I would ultimately rather have the metal that retains the highest historical value. But ultimately, it falls back on your overall stacking strategy and goals. And this is why it is so vital that you have them. Because if you don't, when the time comes to take action, you may not have the needed time to think it through and determine what would be in your best interest. If you had a solid plan to follow with specific triggers or indicators to tell you when it's time, then the decision-making process becomes less murky and the decisions made are more profitable and in keeping with your overall strategy. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't make adjustments on the fly. There will be times when opportunities present themselves when actions must be taken. But even those impromptu decisions should be in support of the overall general strategy. Also, quantities must be taken into consideration. For example, if your stack is 100 ounces, it may not be in your best interest to do any conversions into the yellow metal. But if your stack is in the thousands of ounces, then it would be my bet that converting a significant portion of your silver holdings to gold at the appropriate time would be extremely beneficial. My second exit strategy. For me, the purpose of my precious metals is for wealth retention and to get me through the transition when the government stops paying my military retirement check and Social Security, 401ks, savings and checking accounts, IRAs, and anything that is denominated in dollars is completely taken by the government to keep its solvency, or completely devalued to the point that it wouldn't pay for a stick of gum. The more severe the situation, the more silver I will require for barter. If the transition turns out to be less severe and the monetary reset happens very quickly, then having my wealth in its smallest and most protectable and concealable form will afford me maximum flexibility and ease of travel if required. I believe that considering the possible scenarios that you are most likely to encounter and devising potential contingencies for each will allow you to be the most prepared for whatever decisions you need to make. How much silver you should have for barter is only a decision that you can make based upon what you think you will need to survive in a world with no paycheck, no bank account, no financial support from the government of any kind. Also, it might be contingent upon if you have other resources that can be used for barter instead of your silver. For example, food from a vegetable garden, fresh meat from personal livestock, some kind of service that you can provide, such as carpentry or construction work. If you possess a skill that serves a basic need that people require, then it will have value to them and you will be able to barter with it for goods and services. So if you presently have no particular skill to offer, then you may consider trying to learn one pretty quick. In summary, I believe that an exit strategy should be based upon the severity of the situation you believe you will find yourself in, and not necessarily a set figure like your weight in silver or enough silver to buy a house. With that said, if those particular goals are also enough to enable you to weather the storm and convert your wealth into the new currency after the reset, then the end state is achieved anyway. My only concern is if it is enough, or perhaps too much, where other resources could have been obtained along with your precious metals to better facilitate your survival. But only you can determine that. So, what is your exit strategy? Do you even have one? If you do, have you really thought it through for a worst case scenario? Let me know in the comment section below so that we can all benefit from the ideas of others. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please feel free to share it with others. If you have time, stop by my website at silvertorch66.com. It has silver-related videos, silver-related posts, a huge picture gallery linked to my Flickr page. It has a music room, and even some silver for sale. So check it out at silvertorch66.com. And thank you to everyone who supports this channel.